What's happening, everybody? It's Harry Colley here from the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And I've just finished reviewing and live tweeting the Man City Everton game for the Toffee Blues over on X. And I'm here to give you my instant match reaction. So it finished Manchester City 1. Everton won, a very out of form and very tepid and dull Manchester City side going up against an Everton side who have been grinding out results on this tough run that we've had over December and the end of November. And it's finished all square. Another point, this time on the road to the reigning champions of the Premier League. And it was a game that was not short of talking points, if it might have been a little bit short of quality on the pitch. But first and foremost, we're going to start with the starting lineup. So Ashley Young, of course, the big talking point, suspended for this game after picking up his fifth yellow card of the season against Chelsea last weekend. So that means that Seamus Coleman returned to the starting 11, the captain in at right back. And we saw a pretty familiar side now with the likes of Harrison, who of course has been in recent weeks for the injured Dwight McNeil. Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. We, of course, had Iliman and Dye, who went on to be the star for the show for Everton, or one of them, two main stars of the show today for Everton. Mangala, Idrissa Gana Gay, and Doucouré in midfield. And then, as I mentioned, Coleman in and captain alongside Tarkowski, Branthwaite, and Mykolenko. And the other hero of the afternoon would have been Jordan Pickford, who, of course, ever present in the Everton goal. So that was the starting 11. There wasn't really much talking point, was there? McNeil's injured. I guess a lot of fans would sit and look at Jack Harrison and say maybe Jesper Lindstrom needed to be in there, maybe Broja needed to be in there ahead of Calvert-Lewin, and ultimately Dyche has made his pick. I don't think there should really be any shock about the 11 that was picked for today's game. And really, the first 10-15 minutes of that game were City just being allowed to play and not really being able to do a great deal with the ball. And by the time the goal came, obviously Bernardo Silva gets the ball, he has the shot, it takes a wicked deflection off of an incoming Jared Branthwaite. It's gone down as a Branthwaite own goal. And around about the quarter of the hour mark, we find ourselves 1-0 down, which, based on the way we were playing, maybe shouldn't have been too much of a surprise. I think we're just very fortunate that City are so out of touch and so out of form and on such a bad run at the moment. Probably a more clinical Manchester City side with an informed Haaland that's getting good service. If De Bruyne was fully fit and playing, ifs and buts, but ultimately I think we can count ourselves quite lucky, because I think trying to play like that against the City of last season, we would have been in a lot of trouble and might have been looking at another kind of heavy defeat on the road against a top 10 side. But nonetheless, we find ourselves 1-0 down. We find ourselves with a bit of magic from our skill player, our new star boy, our number 10, Iliman Ndiaye. He finds the ball, he takes a great shot, really kind of catches it well, lifts it past Ortega, who's in Man City's goal for today, and we find ourselves at 1-1, which heading into half-time I think was very fair. I think there were probably not a lot of chances for either side really of note. I think there were a few over the bar for City. We were quite wasteful from some set pieces, but at the end of the first half it was 1-1, and we come out for the second half, no changes made, and I think Everton were really starting to kind of grow into the game, to be perfectly honest. I think the confidence was growing. They were maybe seeing that despite being 1-0 down, that City weren't the City of last season, that they are this City side that have had, apart from that win against Southampton, a really, really rotten run of recent results, both in the league and in the Champions League as well. And I think the biggest question mark for Everton today was going to be, could we score a goal? Because I think at 1-0 down, there were a lot, certainly on social media and maybe in the stadium as well, and maybe even for the players, there was this element of, well, are we going to score a goal? We got a very good point against Arsenal, very good point against Chelsea, but they were built on very strong defensive performances. Obviously, when you've conceded that first goal, and then you look at it and say, well, we didn't score since the game against Wolves, and prior to that game against Wolves, we had some really big problems in front of goal. Were we going to get a goal? So thankfully we went in with a score draw at half time. I think that really changed the complexion for Everton going into that second half. And then the second half really starts with Vitaly Mykolenko, who at left back, he's really had some problems. I think consistency's been a big issue for him. He's a young lad. He's not I don't believe that, well, he's certainly nowhere near the best left back in the Premier League. I don't even know if he's Premier League level on a day-to-day basis, but he picks up his yellow card late in the first half. Early in the second half, he has one where you think, oh, okay, stay on your feet, lad. 5 minutes later, he goes in again. This time he takes Savinho out. He had a really tough battle with Savinho the entire afternoon, and he goes on to give away a penalty. First time in a long time, by the way. I've not seen VAR get involved in a decision. It was that clear cut. And then it's a big talking point, isn't it? Haaland's got the ball. I have to be very honest, over on X, I'm already typing out that Haaland has scored because I thought that was the inevitable outcome. Seamus Coleman gets booked in the build-up to this because he's whispering, he's protesting with the referee first and foremost, and then he's getting in Haaland's ear. Pickford standing on the line making faces. It's no doubt and no stranger to anybody from the Toffee Blues that my love for Jordan Pickford. I love the crazy. I think the crazy's great. I think he's always such good value to watch, just in terms of not his goalkeeping ability, but psychologically as well. He's pulling faces on the line. It's not a fantastic penalty from Haaland, but Pickford saves it. He gets down to the right side, saves the ball. The rebound is headed in, but Haaland is clearly offside, and it remains 1-1. So there we are, 1-1, second half. Confidence is growing once again because Pickford's kept us in that game. And then we talk about the changes. So just looking at the substitutions that Dyche made. So Broja coming on for Calvert-Lewin. I thought Calvert-Lewin had a thankless task today. We've talked about before, Dyche ball, and do strikers thrive in that system? It's safe to say I don't think Calvert-Lewin does. A lot of talk again about his future this week as well, being one of the profile players that are out of contract in the summer. What's he going to do in January? The man that come on though, Broja, we talked a lot about him after the Wolves game, and he came on and he does create for himself, which is something I don't think Calvert-Lewin does. I think Broja receives the ball, he'll run with the ball, he takes the ball well, and he looked great. Again, a really impressive cameo, I thought, from Broja. Lindstrom enters the fray a little bit later on, replacing Ndiaye. He doesn't replace Harrison. I think many of us would have maybe wanted him to replace Jack Harrison. Ndiaye looked like he took a little bit of a knock, and obviously he's critical for us moving forward with the next few games that we've got. And then Nathan Patterson coming back, he comes in right really just for stoppage time for Seamus Coleman, a like-for-like change at right back. He doesn't do a lot right or a lot wrong. It was just there really to get him back in and amongst the first team. So I thought Lindstrom looked a lot healthier today, a lot better, a lot better on the ball, a lot more confident. Broja, I thought, two very impressive cameos from him now against Wolves in particular, his debut, and then today against City. And then we've got to talk about Jack Harrison, and I'm not going to spend too long on it because I feel like a broken record. I even said it on X. I don't think Jack Harrison's a footballer. I think it's criminal. He's taking up a loan slot for Everton right now. I don't know if there's a way that we can terminate his loan in January. I think if you're the new owners, you'd be looking to see if there's any particular way to get him out. Now, the manager clearly rates him, clearly fancies him, clearly wants him to be a part of the squad. For me, no. It's just another chance today. When Broja took that ball, he's running forward with that ball. You've got options to his left. You've got Harrison to the right, and I'm almost screaming at my TV not to play it to Harrison, and it falls to Harrison, and he doesn't take the shot. It's so. Yeah, it's a player there that's just completely bereft of confidence, and it's not going to get any better for him. I don't think. I really think his race is run at Everton. I think he's probably in more danger of going before the manager at this point. But anyway, we're not going to linger too long on Jack Harrison. I'm sure you'll do that in the comments and on X, and you all have your opinions. I share most of them, I believe. I think we could have a lot better in that position. We do miss Dwight McNeil when he's out. I thought we missed Ashley Young today as well, to be perfectly honest. Just that composure at the back. I think Coleman did very well, by the way. A shout out to Coleman. But again, the new owners have got to be looking at that. The director of football's got to be looking at that. And they've got to be looking at the fact that Seamus Coleman and Ashley Young are our two best options at fullback. That Jack Harrison apparently is our instant replacement choice off the bench for the winger position on either side, which for me is a bit worrying. And the Calvert-Lewin contract situation. I think Calvert-Lewin, if there is chance that he's going to go in January. I would happily see Broja have a run with Beto sitting on the bench as the replacement. But we'll see what happens. January is going to be an exciting time with the takeover, but for now, it finished Manchester City 1, Everton 1. We have gone into a run of games that we were really expecting us to struggle in. We've come out with 3 draws, you know, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, 2 0-0s and a 1-1. Really, really not to be sniffed at. I think there's been a lot of criticism for Dyche. I'm going to defend him on this particular occasion. You know, he's going to be under the microscope from the new ownership. He's certainly under pressure from the fan base. These were free hits because we were not expecting to get anything out of those 3 games. And we've got 3 points. In my opinion, we are 3 points better off today than we were going into that run of games. And we'll see what happens next, because there are still plenty of games to come, tough opponents on the horizon, and points that we need to pick up, because despite the fact that we're unbeaten in 4 games now, we do have to look at the table and realise that we're far from safe and far from comfortable. So let us know your thoughts under this video in the comments on X, on Instagram as well. It's at Everton Newsfeed. This is the Toffee Blues. I've been Harry Colley, and I'll see you again very soon.